Alan, why are you standing to become a councillor?
It's a number of reasons. I think first and foremost, I have been listening to people over the last few years, and we've seen different administrations in Thurrock, Labour controlled, Conservative, Labour, Conservative. They've done some good and some bad, I believe. But the main thing is, I hear from a lot of people they're not happy. Aveley seems to be a backwater, forgotten about by the major parts of the major parties. There's also a few issues that I've personally been campaigning against from, as a local person for a lot of years. A lot of years to get to a point where I believe I've worked enough in the community for free, not being a councillor, trying to do things in the community and hear what people like, dislike and want to see happen. To come to a point where I believe that I need to stand to try and do what I can for the folks of Aveley Uplands, and it doesn't matter what person's background. I'm here to support everybody as far as I would be able. As I say, from whatever the political viewpoint, whatever their personal, social, religious viewpoint. As I've said to somebody the other day, from an atheist to a Zoroastrian, I will support whoever. I don't believe it's the platform or the position for my own views, personal views, even religious or social views, to come into it. I'm here to represent the people of Aveley. Say, for instance, if they were fighting against one development, we'll call it lorry parks in one area, but not in another, then I would understand if it was even-handed. But when they spend the time, money and effort in one area and not in another, and when the other happens to be Aveley, I'm passionate for Aveley, I'm passionate for good things to happen, and when I hear what seems to be a huge amount of people for something and the council are against, that bothers me, and you have to be a councillor to come against these things.
But, okay, you brought up lorry parks, we didn't. But there was an inquiry into the Howard Tennant's lorry park, and wasn't there an inquiry into the old power station lorry park? So what's your problem?
My problem is, from what I've heard from people, and it's not just hearsay, I've talked to literally hundreds, if not 1,000, 2,000 people. The Howard Tennant's one, for instance, it's local to us. I looked into what people locally were saying. I went to see the Howard Tennant's people. I've looked at their proposals, and to me, I know there is a rule about not developing on Greenbelt, and sometimes, again, Thurrock Council, not the only ones in the country, but there seems to be a very uneven attitude or a hypocritical thing, where this particular lorry park development, my understanding is, and I've seen evidence to this effect, over 700 people were for it and only about 20 against. Now they're not angels and they hadn't been 100% proper. They themselves will admit they maybe cut a few trees down they should have done, filled in a bit of a pond that had been dried out 20 years ago. But the key thing is, if they are putting a proposal that hundreds and hundreds of residents see as mostly positive, moving the entrance, giving a park back to public ownership, reducing the noise, improving things, it seemed bizarre why our council would go to a public inquiry level against that and not this, West Thurrock or other parts of the borough, lorry parks there. Surely the enforcement should be the same.
Would be different in your approach to protecting the Greenbelt than the Conservative councillors, for example?
Well, there's three things I believe. First, and in a way, it's kind of my logo is it's a kind of stylised windmill. The idea, so we've lost so many things in Aveley, Bellis Mansion, various buildings in Aveley. There used to be a windmill on the top of Mill Road, cool Mill Road. And it's kind of stylised that, but it's also trying to show a link in a way to my pledge, which is I will, I won't and I wish. And it's I will do whatever good things I can for Aveley. I won't put anything to the council that the people don't want. I will stand against issues that the people of Aveley want me to stand against. And I wish to improve things. I wish to work with all other parties. I wish to bring business as well as people into this area that benefits the area. I'm not against business, I'm not against people, but we need certain things. We need housing, but it's got to be in the right place and in the right development. And that's what's driving me.
Can you be independent? Do you not feel that you were, like for example, Ormiston Park Academy, fantastic school, but you had to have a stance on academy status, because do you not, that Labour a year ago were calling it grammar schools by stealth, now they've called it partnership working. The Tories want to see complete removal from the local education authority. So do you feel that somewhere along the line you're going to have to take a political stance on something like that, aren't you?
Yes, I suppose in some ways it's inevitable, or people will see it as inevitable. And on the one hand, I believe that I want to be independent, and I will be independent. However, sometimes there's pragmatism and making things work. Where I can work with the other parties and the rest of Thurrock Council, and may I agree on something that will never be against the will of the people of Aveley. If that's what folks tell me that they want, and that's my impression and understanding, I will always put that first. But there will be times where I'll have to vote with one group or another. And again, I'll look for initially what's best for Aveley, and then when that fits into the bigger picture of Thurrock, then obviously I can go with that. With the school, I think this new school is going to be fantastic, and whether it's academy or called this or called that. But in a way, doesn't that show that even the major parties, that they kind of have to work sort of independence to central government, because like Labour or Conservative, locally in Thurrock have had to take a view about academy status, whether they support it.
What vibe are you getting out and about on the door so far?
It's been very interesting and very positive. I haven't done all my canvassing yet. I've been out today, a bit wet and windy, and in some ways it means that people have been in when it's a hot sunny day, they're normally out. But yeah, I've been very impressed and pleased with the response. It's been very much in favour of what I'm trying to do and what I'm standing for. A few people have said, no, I'm voting Labour or Conservative, but the numbers have been quite small. I seem to have quite a cross-party support of ex and current councillors that see, again, that hopefully I'm the best candidate for Aveley, because I've worked hard for 12 years trying to do things as a part of the forum, part of the community, for free, and just for a passion for Aveley and a desire to do things. So it's interesting, the support on the doors, and as well as council, I seem to have Labour, Conservative, Independent and various other sort of support on the doors.
You just said something there, support of ex and current councillors. Who?
Well, I can mention. I'll be fair to mention the ex. John Cowell, who I've worked with on the forum as ex-Conservative councillor. He's supporting me this time around. Colin Churchman, the ex-mayor, has put his wholehearted support and weight behind me, my campaign, and is asking people to support me. I think, to be fair, and I always believe in asking somebody beforehand. John, I've talked to, and he's happy to say that he's supporting me, and there's posters up in his shop window at the top of the high street, so you can take that one, that he's given me support. The current councillor, I believe it's not fair, as I haven't asked the said person. I was a bit sad that they seem to get quite a lot of stick, even though they're only coming towards the end of their tenure, for even offering to support me. I would have thought it would have been pragmatic and politically sensible to just to say, oh well, okay, you can have a personal view, well done, you're finishing soon anyway. But I think it would be wrong to mention their name at this time. But I had that support, and there's an ex-Labour candidate that's supported me, a Liberal Democrat, who said, I won't stand because you're standing. Now his party put somebody up, and he said they probably would, but at least the person, and that's creditable. It's John Livermore. He said he's quite happy for me to say that, and to know that he's standing in another ward, so that doesn't affect Aveley. But I was appreciative of his support and the fact that he does have quite a lot of local support, so to not stand here was quite creditable and appreciated. As I say, I've got a lot of support from people, more so than the political side. I'm not a politician, I'm too old, and I'm not fussed, I'm not in it for that. I'm just passionate about Aveley. I know what I will do, what I won't do, and what I wish to do.
Alan, thank you very much.